welcome to Sex Ed Saturdays. My name is Kaylee, and I just talk about sexual education, history of sex ed, all of that sort of thing while doing my makeup. So, if you want to keep watching, keep watching. If you don't, you can click off. Don't forget to subscribe below, like, comment, subscribe again. Everything I use will be listed in the description box, and yeah, let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about the history of birth control. So, it may not be known, but women not wanting to be pregnant is nothing new. And for a long time, women just used, home remedies. If you see me looking over here, it's because I have my mirror. So, and if this looks too light, it is because it is. Because I need to get a new color, and I just haven't. So I have to contour and really make it match, because I got really tanned when I've been outside. But anyway, so women would use a lot of home remedies to prevent pregnancy. This was anywhere from pomegranate seeds, which they would use which was found in Greek mythology. Demeter was said to have eaten pomegranate seeds every day when she was raped by Hades, basically. And she wanted to prevent pregnancy. There's this stuff called silphium in Libya, and people would ingest that to prevent pregnancy as well. And then people in India and Sri Lanka would use or would eat papaya every day to prevent pregnancy. And actually, it was found out in 1993. Lord have mercy, this is so light. It was found out in 1993 that papan, I think that's how you say it, is actually does help prevent pregnancy because there's progesterone in there. And this is not to say to eat pomegranates, and that will help you not get pregnant, because it's very risky business. So, let me do my eyebrows because I actually look crazy. And I don't want y'all to be thinking I'm out here looking crazy. Like, I really need to get a new foundation. Like, that's actually really janky. Okay, but anyway. So, this is nothing new, right? But one day, Margaret Sanger, actually, I won't say one day. Margaret Sanger was supposed to be a women's rights activist. She was very into women's rights, which we'll get into later because it's a very sinister history. But as she was into women's rights, she wanted to come up with birth control. So she decided she was going to do that because she wanted to she thought that controlling family size was crucial in making sure that women were not poverty stricken. So in 1916, Margaret Sanger opened the first birth control clinic. And when she did this, she was arrested like a week later, like not even a week later. Like, they really snatched her the fuck. They really snatched her the fuck up. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And so And she was like, okay, well, that's okay because I'm gonna still do this regardless. You thought you could keep a bad bitch down, but you couldn't. But honestly, we need to edit that part out because she's not a bad bitch. She's really not, because she's really, like, I'm not even gonna say partially a bad bitch because she was racist. So, okay. Anyway, so after she had her birth control clinic in the 1940s to about the 50s, she was researching how to make the first birth control pill. Well, she was researching that, and then she was also funding research. My eyebrows never match, so y'all are really about to see me struggle. Let me put this back behind here. Okay, that's good. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, okay. So she was researching the birth control pill, and she actually personally funded some of the research that was going on because she was like really trying to back this. So she herself did not have enough money to fund everything. So her friend, one of her good friends named Catherine McCormick, started donating. And then at first she just donated like a little bit. Like she donated like I think 10,000 the first time, and then she started really revving it up. She really started donating like 100,000, like 150,000 each year. So it's a lot of money. And in total, it was said that she donated about $2 million, which would be $18 million today. So it's a lot of money. So with all this money, they were able to come up with some sort of contraception. And actually, funny enough, the first contraceptive pill was based off of a wild yam called the barbasco root. I believe that's how you pronounce it. If I pronounce it wrong, y'all just tell me because I don't know. It's the barbasco root, also called cabeza de negro. The barbasco root is a wild yam that was eaten by Mexican women a lot. And so Russell Marker took that and took the progesterone out of it because they found that that was where it was in that root. And then Gregory, I was about to call him George, Gregory Pincus took estrogen and they merged those together, and boom, we got the first oral contraceptive pill. So, after this was made, there was clinical trials in 1956, and you know how today we have like informed consent and stuff. They didn't really do that. Like they would be like, yeah, there's some risks, but they wouldn't really tell them all the risks because there was a lot of side effects because it was very strong when they first made it. So anyway, there's clinical trials in 1956, and then in 1957, the FDA approved it for regulation of menstruation. So they didn't even call it a contraceptive pill yet. Baby, they was really trying to keep us down. But anyway, so after that, in 1965, the FDA approved E.L.F, which was officially the first contraceptive pill. And so, also at this time, Griswold versus Connecticut was just passed, where married couples could use contraceptive during, or like if they didn't want to get pregnant, whatever. Which still, that's not really cute because like women should have the choice to do that if they want to. So, all while this is going on, the eugenicist movement is going on. And Margaret's saying, this is where it gets a little sinister. Because all while this is going on, the eugenicist movement is happening. And eugenics is basically controlled breeding for desirable traits in the population. Now, when we hear about desirable traits, we know that means white traits. We all know it. And that's sad. Okay? So, during this time, Margaret Sanger is a self-proclaimed eugenicist. Like, she really fucks with them heavy. Like, she really is like, yeah, I love the eugenics and I'm here for it. Which is not cute at all. So, I'm just like, because we do not learn that in school. Like, nobody has ever told me that. I had to research that on my own. So, basically, you know, eugenics is like a pseudoscience, very racist, very wanting to control the population. And that's what they did. They controlled the population. They would do forced sterilizations on mostly people of color. I'm about to get some Vaseline because, baby, my lips are dry. Okay, I don't remember what I was saying, but we're going to start in the back. So, so they were doing forced sterilizations because they were thinking that people of color were just not fit to be parents. Like, and I feel like that's just very tomfoolerish. So, Margaret Sanger herself targeted communities, marginalized communities, which were obviously full of people of color. So she would give birth control to women that she knew were marginalized, because most of the time these women would have several children. Like, they would have like 6 or 7 children. And so I feel like it was veiled. Her being nice was really just her veiled racism. Especially since she was like in the eugenicist movement anyway. So she had this book that was written in the 1930s called Birth Control Review, and it's a journal. Not really a book, it's a journal. And she literally says, so the Birth Control Review says that it was supposed to it was supposed to propel the legalization and spread of voluntary birth control, right? But in the book itself, it says, it had a masthead that says birth control to create a race of thoroughbreds. That's literally what it says. So that doesn't sound very benevolent to me. I'm just putting that out there. And one of the quotes in the book says, to promote eugenic birth selection throughout the U.S. so that there may be well-born and fewer ill-born children, a stronger, healthier, and more intelligent race. So, with all of these things combined, it just seems like the whole birth control movement, while it did bring a lot of voluntary, it did bring a lot of good things. We use it today. It also has a very sinister beginning. Guess who was in this journal? His name was Professor Dr. Ernst Rudin. And he was Adolf Hitler's director of genetic sterilization. So, What does that tell you? So, not only that, but they used the model of America as the model for Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany really liked, like, that is so crazy, how, one, they really liked Jim Crow laws, and two, they really liked American eugenics. So, here we go. And as we already know, Hitler's person for genetic specialization was a person who was in the Birth Control Review Journal. So, they modeled Nazi Germany after how Americans treated people of color. But they just took it a step farther. And while this sets, I'm going to finish up the eyes. So we're coming to a close. All I have to do is put my lip on. So basically, birth control is a good thing because we have a choice of whether we want to have a child or we don't want to have a child, and we can use birth control for that reason and a plethora of other reasons, such as controlling acne, controlling ulcers, controlling hormones, and even if you just don't want a period. However, it is important to take into account everything when looking at the history of birth control. And quite frankly, we do not get the whole picture in school. So I'm here to tell you the real tea. So, with that said, I'm taking off my Vaseline. So this is the finished look. I hope you like it and check in next week for another Sex Ed Saturday. Bye!